This video is proudly brought to you by whatiszs.com. ZS is coming. Okay, friends, subscribers, I've been given the printer and some software a bit of a hard time today. It's sort of, rather than go out and spend $2 or whatever it is for a filament center, I thought, oh well, there was this design here, that pink and green thing, but there was no space to put the piezo. So what I've done, and there was nothing to hold it to the actual thing except for that. So I thought, well, okay, maybe I can do something else and put a hole somewhere and make it so that it's, yeah, a little bit better, and so that the filament sensor can actually go on the onto the side, but with a bit better securing and things like that. So what I'm doing is just making that possible right now. That hole, unfortunately, that hole looks to be about the same. So at least there's two spots to secure it. And that one is, I've got to copy that and move that. And because that's going to make my speaker holes for the it's going to make my speaker holes for the lid. Shite. Don't know what the hell's going on with this. Put it over here. So what I did the first time is I went by the orientation of the lid. I forgot to flip it over before I did it, and so what I'm doing here is I'm just finishing it off. I know that that lid is going to fit that box, because if I select that and just bring that down, fits perfectly into the other one, so I know it fits. So this time I've got it correct. Oh shit, so I'm going to undo that. And copy that, paste it, shift it, move it out of the way. There. These guys. Got a 180-degree flip. Shift them across. Put that one, move it back across so that my gizmo is still working. Just make sure that's in the middle there. Back down to the center. Just make sure she's on the Z line so she's all nice and neat. I've still got to put another box in there yet. A blank box, but yeah, no, at least it's going to fit this time, because unfortunately I made the mistake of not thinking of orientation of the lid, and I printed them out, and all of a sudden this is pointing in the wrong direction because I stuck it on that side, not on that side. So it's shit that happens, and you've got to just account for everything. And generally I'm just going to make this as a group item, so that when I print it, both the lid and the thing print together. Because of the simple fact that when you're doing it, like tinkercad, and I've got to tell you now, this is my first time ever using tinkercad, so it's a bit of a learning process for me. Like, this unit is reasonably good, and it sort of switch works in it, everything like that. I'm gonna make a little bit more of a hollow up in there. Like, the chap that did this, he did actually take out a bit of extra space up here, but there's still quite not enough for me, for my switch. So what I've got to do, I've got to pretty much do the same thing. I've got to get the box again, bring it across, and I'm chopping a bit of that out as well. So that's the way it goes. You've got to modify them for your switches and things like that. Other than that, it's actually a good little model. It sort of you've got to make this at 0.8. That's it's 0.8. Took me a while to work out that the height of it had to be 0.8 on other things. So now it's just a matter of just giving it the space that it actually needs to do the job correctly. Because unfortunately, if you don't do this correctly, you got problems. You take out too much of one thing, and all I want to do is just take enough of the switch. So I'm sort of showing you what I'm actually doing. And as I said, I'm only now just learning tinkercad. I've never used tinkercad in my life before, not once. So it's just a simple matter of just looking and making sure that everything is correct. Shrink it down a bit. So now what I've actually done is, just widen that out the fraction of a hair's breadth. And, that box needs to shrink a bit. I need to do this. So it's just trial and error with this program by the looks of it. It sort of doesn't want like snapping for something, and I can't work out how to stop it from snapping. There's so many settings in here that I haven't been able. Snap grid, okay, set it to, okay, we'll change that to 0.1 of a mil. That's better. Now we can, that's much better. Now I'm digging into the side. Copy that. Just take out that little bit extra. what that'll do, that'll give my switch that ability to actually engage and turn on, because that's a current problem I've actually got at the moment, because it's not actually engaging. And yeah, so you've got to work all these things out with this. This is a good design. He took it from somebody else and modified it. I'm modifying it again, and but the modification I made was to add the just enough to do those. I'm not going to do that. Won't fit if I do that. So now I know that'll fit. It's got the extra spot there. What I'll do is I'll actually put an extra box there, just to add a bit of extra support. And yeah, so it's just, you work it out. It's trial and error. So we know the height of that is 5.8. 5.8. .8. No, it's not. Looking at the wrong one. It's 9.8. So because that is a support, it's now a little bit stronger. So what Tinkercad does, that just allows you to make things so they match. So now that is a very, very micro dot. Thing. The main support will be taken by this box here. So because it's thicker, and you can screw that in and screw that on to the thing. So yeah, it's just a different way of doing it. It sort of, I'm going to add two on the back just in case, so another way of securing it, which is what should be done anyhow. So, no, we need a new one. So yeah, you just constantly add stuff, get it to the size you want. Change that to 3. That one to 3. Yeah, so by making the slight modifications to it, it enables you to get what you need in the right thing. And we're going to change that snap back to a mil. Copy it. Paste it, shift. By using shift, it keeps the holes in perfect alignment. So that gives 2 spots in this box to actually secure it from another direction. So it's just giving you more options, and so by adding those extra options, you give yourself the ability to change things It's not a bad little program, this tinkercad. It's not bad at all, actually. I'm quite enjoying it because I'm able to just move and manipulate things to suit myself so that I can just, modify things. So that is too big, so we make it 5mm. I've just got to find that radius. Once I find that radius, I'll be happy. And design is always hard, and especially 3D design is even harder. Yeah, about a 5mm, I think. Most probably even a 3. So I'm just taking that little corner off there, that's all I'm doing. So I'm happy with that. There's still a little bit of a corner there, which is going to cause a bit of a problem. Just thought of that. No, I'm going to remove that altogether. I'm going to get that, and then I'm just going to take that back into there. That's most probably the better way to do it, because I just remembered if I do that, the lid won't fit, and then I'm sitting there with a bloody file, and when you're working with a file, it's a nuisance because you don't want to have to do things. I'd sooner have a little notch. Still just that fraction out. There we go. So now we've got 2 spots to skewer. We've got fraction. And you always interface it into the next block, because if you don't interface it into the next block, you've got no strength. So we've still got just that fraction. That should be. That's close. Yeah, it'll have a bit of an angle, but I'm not worried about a slight piece of an angle. So now all I'm going to do is just drop these a bit so they go through. These are the ones that actually put holes into the unit for you. So these are the remove. So anything with the grey is remove. So I'm just removing pieces of plastic here. Yeah, tinkercad, it's not a bad little program. So yeah, I'm still to do my box. Wrong one. One. And this one doesn't really matter. It just has to form the inside of this box. Giving it walls for the lid, so there's a bit of strength in the lid. Oh, it's not. 0.8. So now it's at the right level. Just have to make it right here. When you do that, when you're satisfied with it, and make sure that you're satisfied with it. So we've got our pathway for the wires. The cutaway is not cutting through. Okay, one cutaway is cutting through. So what I'm going to do is just zoom in. Once you find everything and you're satisfied, 0.8. Yeah, no, that's right. That makes sense. Eight. Yeah, so now that is perfect. We've got our lids cut out. So now all we've got to do is drop a few of these just by using those same holes. Copy that. Paste it. Now that I'm going to move across to here. And in here, over here, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make an arrangement of them. And I'll change them to 2 first. So you don't want any holes bigger than 2 mil. Copy that again. Paste. So now we're back. We want the grid at 0.5. So you got to know, you got to get used to what snaps best and everything. So for this, we don't want that much of a thing, but we do want them snapping to lines, so we've got to check that our lines are in the right position. They don't have to be perfect holes. Shift is always the best way, but at 0.5. So now all I do is I shift, get them all selected, copy them again, Control V, and zoom out a bit. So now what I'm doing is because they're in a group, I'm just making a zigzag pattern with them. They don't have to be perfect. 9 should be enough. So select them. Oops. Move them across. Drop them right in the middle. Get the arrow. Push them down. So now we've got our speaker holes. And we are complete. So very simple to make modifications to a design using tinkercad. It's not a bad little program, and I strongly recommend tinkercad to anybody because I've just taken someone else's design, used simple boxes and simple cylinders. I've modified his design to where it's going to benefit me, and I think there's a so I've strengthened one area, I've added an area, I've made speaker holes, I've got somewhere to stick a piezo alarm, so the piezo alarm will be there. All I've got to do is supply power to it, and yeah, so it's already had the whole 4 wires, and yes, you could always use that for the piezo alarm wire coming in, so you could have power going in there, the piezo wire, if you don't secure it that way. But yeah, there's plenty of ways to secure it now, and yeah, but if you secure it in that direction, you can pretty much now have 2 holes. It's a lot stronger on this side, You're not being interfered with on that. And talking about that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend that. So I've just added another speaker hole. And that's all that was for. But no, it's not a good idea. Oops. I just realised that because the filament comes in that direction. So you can put holes anywhere, and it's so easy to put a hole somewhere in a box. And it's just a simple matter of placing it in the right spot, making it happen in the right spot. And yeah, sometimes you might have to adjust height. So I'm going to change that actually from 5.8 to 4. So that way it gives that hole somewhere to go. I never thought of that. So yeah, just you've got to go over your designs, and playing with 3D programs, they're really easy. I could have gone into Fusion and made my own, but there was something that already had a switch that worked. And the only thing is that my switch, I had the exact same problem this guy had. His switch didn't open up enough, so I've just taken out even more. So, and by doing that, it gives me the ability for my switch to actually engage and everything. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to export it as is, and I'm going to print it as is before I do anything. Just export it as an STL. It'll jump back over into the thing. You put it where you want. So showing folder. First off, I'm going to rename it. Test 2. Because let's just say this ain't my first test. So we're going to drop that straight in there. So there's test. I'm going to open test up in Cura. And let's see what happens. So there we go. We've got an extra box. Okay, hang on. Let's just delete it in here first. So now I've got an extra box and I can't work it out. And no, because all I've done was just print a selected when I export selected, which is something you've got to watch out. See, I had that selected, so I should have now I export it, everything in the design. Okay, so now the test is there, showing folders, rename it again, take it back to test again. And we'll drop that into printers, tools, because now I know it is okay. Tool changes, then do the run out sensor, drop it in there and replace. So now we actually go into the file, really simple. Test it, and there we go. We've got our box with a lid cut, we've got our speaker holes for our piezo, and for some unknown reason something didn't come across when I've made it. So this is why you do a test and you check it in here, because I've forgotten to put a base on that, or it's cut the base out. So I go back into here and look under there. See, what I'm doing is I'm actually cutting the base out, so that's wrong. I need to raise that up. Click on that. Change that to 0.8. Always test. Always test. Export it first, test it, and then take it into Cura. Make sure it looks good in Cura before you actually do anything with it, and you shouldn't have too many problems, folks, with it. I know that it's sort of slow when you're doing these sort of videos and everything like that, but it's actually better if you do it and do it this way, and always rename it test. And always save it to the same file, so you overwrite the file and just replace the destination file. So now we go in back into that same folder. We delete those because we know that's useless. Load that. And we go into test. See what I mean? Still got the same problem because I didn't delete. I've done something wrong here. So I go back in here. For some unknown reason that is still chopping out the base. Click on that. So now it's not chopping out the base. So again, I export it. And you just keep on doing this until you know that that is right. Because if you don't test it and you go ahead and print it, you wind up with major problems all the way. So this time we're going to name this one test 2. Or test 1, just to give it a different name so that we know that we're pulling the right folder in. Go back in here, and this time we're going to open up test 1 and hope. See, and I've got that box selected, and because that box is selected in there, that's all it's printing. That is all it is printing. So we export everything in the folder STN, rename it again. Renaming it is part of the process, and it helps you. We're going to name this one test 2 this time, just to make sure that I don't screw up until I get it right. I normally do keep on naming it and just overriding it. That way I don't have as many files to delete. But, so yeah, it's just, you go through it and there it is. Now we've actually got the box as is. The floor levels seem to be precise. They don't seem to be odd shape. They match both sides, and it's a simple flip over and it should fit on. But see, I've made a problem here that I didn't see. I don't know if you guys can see that, but those holes, I've pushed them through. So again, just delete that. We're going in there, so we're going to delete these while we're in here. We just go back to the word test, get rid of them. And so in this one, see, that's where they are there. They're just going through the bottom. So same thing again. I've got to select both of them. Shift, select. Now I click that little arrow. Pull it up. Click on that, go 0.8. And we do the same thing again. Export again, STL. Show in folder. And go back to renaming it test. And as I said, by just simply doing it this way, going through that simple little process of going in, testing everything, jumping into your folder, making sure it's there, so we this time we click it on, and this time it's right. There's enough room for the filament to go through, there's enough room for my switch. It will take a bit of thing to get the filament through it, but that doesn't matter. I want that switch to engage when it's on. So yeah, so just by giving that bit of extra room. So this time I'm going to get my card, going to save it, and then I'm going to start printing it, and that's it. So that's how you modify a design in Tinkercad. Thanks very much for joining me, and yeah, this video was proudly sponsored by whatiszs.com. ZS is coming soon. ZS apologises for the website currently being down due to provider problems, and we will get the website back up very, very soon. Thank you. Bye.